you had to hear about what is the mayor going to do about it.
But you didn't get but see, the problem with that, right? It wouldn't even have been it was bad, but it wouldn't have been as bad.
If they'd have said we're building a record amount of houses.
Exactly.
We're fixing a record amount of roads. We're building 7 hotels, and we ain't built a hotel since 1989. We got all of the stuff downtown.
That's what I'm saying.
We're hosting Major League Baseball All-Star games, Super Bowls, wrestling championships, Final Four. So if we'd have got that credit, then it would have been a different story. You're right.
That's the thing that bothered me more than anything was just that, because I caught the Hamilton bus from 7 Mile down to Cass Tech every day in order to be able to go to school. We seen the transformation. I seen what the Riverwalk was doing. I went from, because my mom used to work downtown. She used to work at MBD Bank. So me going and seeing, the transformation and how things continue to evolve and what happened during the Super Bowl and all of these different things, all of those things factored into my mindset and understanding what the reality was versus what the media was painting as a narrative as what the truth was. And it was completely different. So let me pivot for a minute, right? Because I got a completely different question for you, or I got a completely different set of questions for you. Have you been following at all some of the things that's been happening from an entertainment perspective? And I know that you said that, I'm not the Kwame that you would want litigating for you inside of the courtroom or whatever. Mm-hmm. Have you been following anything that's been happening, whether it be the Tory Lanez, Meg Thee Stallion thing, the thing that's been going on in Atlanta with regard to the convictions of, or the whole rappers and all of that other type of stuff? Have you been following any of that?
My 12-year-old just told me about Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. I didn't know what that was about. He told me that he shot in the foot. He got found guilty or something.
Allegedly.
I don't know the intricate details of what that all about. I don't know that at all. But in terms of the indictments, I watched that very closely because they're using the RICO law. And I was just explaining to that same 12-year-old son, because he know all the rappers.
Yeah.
And that's such and such. He do this. He can pull it up on YouTube. This is his song. And that's his song, because I don't know none of these guys. Mm-hmm. But I was explaining to him that law is what they're using now to round up these large groups of people and attach all of this time to each one of them until one of them start telling. And what you see in Atlanta now is people telling. When you start seeing people get bail, when you start seeing folks get bond, all of a sudden they done lock this dude up, but all of a sudden he gets out. Yeah, man, my lawyer really got me, so he got bond. And all the guys watching right now that they've been in this federal trap, they understand when people start getting out and you still in. Oh yeah, they going to them people for you on you. So I mean, it's a it's a thing of you using a law that was intended to break the backs of organized crime, the mafia in this country. And I need Detroiters and anybody listening, and whether you're in Dallas or Atlanta or California or wherever you are, listening to this podcast, they're using it in your neighborhood too now. And they're using it on street gangs, and they'll use it against your 15, 16, 17-year-old son or daughter. And they'll round these people up and put them under this law. And you only need somebody to say, not write down, not know, you don't need any facts. You need somebody to say that we intended for this to be a criminal organization. And they'll round them up. And so I just think that I'm watching it to see how many people, because that prosecutor, she's doggedly determined to get, there's more coming out. She's on TV, and there's going to be more coming out. There's going to be more people indicted. So she's scaring all of the people into talking.
Yep.
And it's just going to be very interesting to see how that all pans out. But I have to say on the other side, because I know this other side is there, the more conservative end looking at it, they done gone crazy in Atlanta.
Really?
Oh, man, 75% increase in violent crime. It's 3 or 4 shootings every day on the news. It's bad. It really is bad. It's the news I watch every day. And Atlanteans is watching the news. They understand what's going on. It's bad. It's like how
I didn't know it was that bad in Atlanta.
Oh yeah, it's the violence is at an all-time high. You got Buckhead trying to break and secede from Atlanta again. You got all these different things happening. It was a young man, not young, but a brother down there from Detroit that just got killed. He got carjacked and killed down there.
In Atlanta?
In Atlanta.
Wow.
He had just moved there a few years ago and just got killed. But it's a lot happening there, and all of the political powers that be are saying we got to do something about it. And so that is the reaction is start arresting people, start indicting people. You know, and that is the immediate reaction. But what's the long-term reaction? Because that's not going to stop the violence, and it's not now.
No, it doesn't seem like it is. It seems like a lot of people that's in Atlanta are transplants. And then it also seems like that's what's starting to happen in Houston, is that a lot of people are starting to move to Houston in the same way that they were moving to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's ever a possibility for like a Texas, right, to flip over into being more of a blue state than it is a red state eventually?
It's starting to move in that direction. And it's moving in that direction pretty fast. They thought they had it, but a lot of the people that would normally vote blue in Texas, they're not voting yet.
Yeah.
So as soon as they charge that community up to vote blue, you're going to see a flip in Texas, and it's going to start in some of the congressional districts before it's the whole state. But they had the candidate they wanted this last election, and he got killed. And so you know it's going to be a moment in time where it's going to flip, though, because you're right. I think what they say, 190,000 people moved to the Dallas-Fort Worth area last year. And, you know, you're talking about people looking there for opportunity, and we know a lot of people move to Dallas. You know, it's not just from Detroit. It's from Chicago and Atlanta. And we were one of those people that just said, and Dallas was awesome, man. It was a very, man, it was an awesome community. It was an awesome place. They opened their arms to us. The news from here would come down on the street and do all these exposés. My neighbors, get out of here. We don't want to get You know, and my sons had a great, you know, middle school and high school experience because we did make that transition. But you're going to see more people going there. I do expect for it to flip, though. I was going to be hesitant on it. It should flip because there's too many people moving there.
Yeah.
And the politics of the country are changing so rapidly.
Yeah, I see a lot of the sentiment in Texas is because it's a lot of people from California moving there.
Yes.
You know, it's a lot of people from New York that's moving there. And the sentiment, it seems that, because like Florida has always been a swing state to a larger extent, right? Depending on who was running for political office, you know, even when, who was it? Obama's guy, the vice president for Obama.
Biden?
No.
You talking about Gore?
Not Biden. The vice president for Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton, Gore, yeah.
Al Gore.
Oh, yeah, the hanging Chad.
Yeah. And when he was running against Bush, and then, you know, you had that whole thing happening there, it was kind of sort of a swing state. It seemed like the whole United States outside of the middle of the country is up for grabs at this point.
Well, what we saw in this last election, Texas went solidly in the Republican slot, as well as Florida. Yep. DeSantis brought something that was
they like him over there,
Trumpian almost, in terms of this is our state and this is how we're gonna run it, and if you don't like it, get out.
Yep.
And the New Yorkers and the California folks that are moving there don't seem to be the liberal ones, you know, because of the real estate there. I mean, you're talking about moving out of a 2,500 square foot house in Manhattan that was $4 million, and you could spend $3 million on a house down there, and it's 5,000 square foot, and you out overlooking the ocean. And so you got different folks moving to Florida now. It's a very interesting thing, dynamic that's happening. That race shocked me, though. Even when you look at the congressional races and the Senate, if you look at Val Demings' race, I mean, everybody thought she was going to do so much better than she did. Man, she got killed in that race against little Marco.
Yeah.
That trouble.
See, you still love politics. It's just in your blood.